Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Taurus, we're going to look and see how you've changed, the changes you've been going through, what you're becoming, how you're growing up and all that stuff. We're going to see who you were then. That could be like yesterday, could be a couple weeks, couple years ago. Who you are now. We're going to look at the lesson that you are still working on mastering. And me, it's with the freaking wax. And then the lesson that you have mastered. All right, I'm using all while unknown again this week. I don't know if I should say it. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping that this is the last reading video that I make with this metal bar at the roof of my mouth. I have an appointment tomorrow. That's the biggest reason for the wax, because it rubs the inside of my tongue. So that's why I just kind of was thinking of that with the wax. I think it's coming out, but I don't know. I just jinxed it. I know I did. Anyways, they keep pushing that goal line further and further back on me. I think I have to retrain myself how to talk. That would be weird. All right, Taurus. Let's get into your energy. Who you were then, who you are now. Lesson that you are still perfecting. The lesson that you have mastered. Taurus, Taurus. The bovine babies. I don't know if you can hear it. The laughter and giggling in the background is my little bovine baby. We use a Taurus. He's in his... Oh, that's good. How is that possible? You got the shapeshifter in the same spot that Aries got it. That is so weird. You saw me shuffle, and I shuffled prior to this reading. Let's see where this goes, though. You know, the same card, going to be a different message. It's not talking to me at all. Who are you now? The pilgrim. You're on journey. You're on journey. You're going somewhere. You've gone from 15 to 20. Maybe there's something significant for you in those numbers. Maybe there's been a 5-year shift for you here. Shift, shapeshifter, 5 years. Something significant that's been going on the last 5 years. Okay. Okay, the message that I'm getting here is that there's something significant going on for you for the last 5 years, but that has not been the pilgrimage. The pilgrimage is starting now. So something was going on, like you were shifting somehow. Things were shifting. I feel like things were shifting around you. The things that were shifting around you were causing you to shift and change. Now that the shifting and changing has kind of like concluded, the pilgrimage starts now. The lesson that you're still trying to perfect here. Oh, is the forest. Walking into the deep darkness on your own. The pilgrimage. Going into an unknown area. Leaving something that you were familiar with. Because I think of a pilgrim as somebody who has left their village and they are wandering out and they find another village, or they find something, or they're in the wandering state. So perhaps even you are in the wandering state, whether that is philosophically, whether that is physically. But I do feel that it's almost like it was created by things outside of you. Like you kept adjusting and changing to things that were adjusting and changing around you. And now you're the pilgrim and you're working on the forest. So you're kind of in there, right? Oh, wax. If you wonder where I put that wax, it's my little brass plate that has all my Palo Santo and shit on it. Yeah, you're in the fort. You're perfecting yourself right now. You're working on this right now. You're on paths. You don't know where they're going to go. You find yourself on another path. Sometimes that path takes you right back to where you started. The lesson that you've perfected in all of this is the unseen. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, because that just, wow, you're just like wandering around in the forest, Cindy. Yep, it's what I do. So, yeah, like just, I feel like the unseen is in some level having faith here, having a level of faith when you're pilgrimaging through the forest. You are literally going from, when you say you're going from one village to another too, like that's like, what does a village symbolize? A village symbolizes like safety, security, consistency, predictability, friendship, family, lovers, career, you know, like all those things that kind of create our identities. And then we wrap ourselves around that and we feel safe. We are part of a community. We are part of something in the village. But when you pilgrimage, you leave that all behind. And then when you leave that all behind, you're also leaving large elements of your identity behind. And look at this shapeshifter. Like then, so you've left your identity behind. You've done it. You've really done some big shit here. You've done some big shit here. You've left your identity behind. You are perfecting walking through the forest, but you know, this almost feels like you're so close to actually perfecting that, because if you've perfected the unseen, you can literally, even if you can't see it yet, you just know there is something on the other side of, if it's not this plateau or stand of trees, it's the next one. You can see it. You know what it is. You may not know how close it is or how many times you have to go in circles to get to it. But you can definitely see the things that have not materialized in front of you. Also, I feel like too, like this is even like if you were looking at yourself in the mirror, because if you are going on a pilgrimage and you have left your village and you have left all of those things behind, and what are linked to many of those things is your identity and how you identify yourself, is starting to really see like the deeper part of you that's not connected and never has been, and only was temporarily, to those identities and those archetypes. This is cool. Yeah, you're cool, man. You're pretty cool. Okay, the offering. The offering is next. Or the offering is the under. Why did I say the offering is next? I don't know. Sometimes those things are important when they just pop out like that, channeled like that. What I wanted to say, well, maybe the offering is, this is the whole reason. Well, maybe this is the whole reason. The underline is usually the significant aspect of why we're here in the reading. Are you offering something of yourself in the next village? Are you going to receive an offer in the next village? On some level here, I feel like you are offering something of yourself, because you enter a village, and whatever that means to you, again, it could be physical, of all those different things that I described that could represent, that are representations of village. They could just be philosophical for you, but when you enter a new village, you are really, you're offering yourself. Village has got stuff. It's been surviving without you. So you walk into the village, you offer your hand. You offer your hand when you walk into a space that is unknown to you and you are unknown to them. It is a gesture of faith. It is a gesture of peace. I don't know. Let's keep going. Let us keep going. Oh, there's so much color in your cards too. I think this is one of the first times I pulled cards. Every single one of them is full of color. There's been a lot of monochromatic energy sitting in the other readings. Look at this too. The hand is coming out of the dark area and into color. Coming out of the dark area, the forest is a dark space, and into the color. You are. There you go. Yeah, I really do feel like you were kind of molded by your environment in the past, and your environment was changing in the past. And you're adapting to these changes. That beaver, not, I swear to God, that beaver was in the same spot. Isn't it funny though? You can get like the same card in a spot and get a completely different message. Tigger. Shit me not. That is crazy. You got the tiger, right? Tiger. The beautiful tiger. What is up in here? Look at this triangle. It's a corner, a cutout of a photo of a tiger. You see that? His eye and his ear. That is a huge synchronicity. Let's just stop right now. We're going right to the book because there is a meaning in that. We got to dig it all out for you. I'm not doing an edit here. We're doing this live camera. Okay, Tiger, who you were then. Lunar force, ease and darkness, feminine energy. Really? Oh. The tiger hunts at night, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour. It's been a long time since I read the tiger. And the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. That's where you were then. And then look at though, it takes a lot of that power to go on this journey. When in balance, passionate, strong, and sensual. When out of balance, overstimulated. To bring into balance, Tritaka. Candle gazing. Wasn't that interesting? That is that card is, I want to describe, very fleeting. Like it's like an energy that you can perceive but not touch. Oh, unseen. Unseen. You were unseen. Then you were unseen. And you've perfected it. You were an energy that is seen, but is felt, but not seen. Oh, wait a second now. You are an energy that is felt and not seen. Someone had a reading. I swear to goodness sakes here. It's funny how sometimes I can go from like potty mouth to the church lady. You can feel it, but you can't see it. I swear someone had a reading on that. I don't know who it was. Isn't that funny? I wonder if that's you. Somebody they can feel it, but they can't see it. But that's what you are. Because if the whole description of this tiger energy, the lunar force, it is not something that you ease in darkness. It's a feminine energy. It's pretty sensual though. Maybe you do visitations in the night with people somehow. But this shapeshifter. Now I'm getting like with the moon and everything, almost like in the moon, crescent moon is in the tiger's third eye. Then you were a visitor. I don't know if you visit people in their dreams. And you can change shape. You can appear as something different. You've perfected being unseen. Boy, you've got I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued now, Taurus. Okay. Now, the pilgrim. You got the elephant. Look at that. You walking through the forest. Walking through the darkness. One step at a time. Forest. What you're perfecting here. The elk, but who lives in the forest? The elk. Magic. You're perfecting magic. Unfound magic. You're perfecting unfound magic. Forgotten magic? Whoa. I'd like to play that back and see how that happens. You're perfecting unfound and forgotten magic. You've perfected being unseen. The sea serpent. There's something you do here with your spirit. I don't know what it is. There's something that you do here on a spiritual level. 5D. There's 5D all over this. I'm not sure about now and the lesson perfecting. It feels a little more three-dimensional to me, like practical things that are happening and you're doing this in life. This, I feel like, is something. You have the spirit symbol. The dragonfly is at the bottom with the eagle and the lion and the lamb. Wow, the lion and the lamb. The lion and the lamb. Apparently that's a Mandela effect too, because that was never written in the Bible. Put that in your pipe and smoke it and see how you feel about that. Yeah. Well, last time I checked. Sometimes they switch again too. There was never a story about the lion and the lamb. It was about something else. It makes no sense. It was like, what? The wolf. The wolf and the lamb. What shit is that? Isn't that crazy? I'm not telling you. You go into those Mandela effects, it's going to blow your mind. There's going to be at least a few that you're like, no, 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 no. I know it was not like that. The lion and the lamb. The eagle and the dragonfly too. This is clear, like vision becoming, your vision's becoming quite clear. Okay, when you are not seen, you become the seer. When you are not watched, you become the watcher. So you have been watching, you have been seeing. And on some level, I feel like it's like a dream state. To get the eagle and the dragonfly here like this, and then for me, the lion and the lamb is very significant. I don't know, maybe for some of you, that's not a Mandela effect, that it was never the lion and the lamb. But for me, it is. And it is about reality and how it can shift and change. Or I actually don't think it does. I think we shift and change. And we move into different threads of reality where our consciousness is more present. You are really attuned at moving your consciousness around. You can accept reality on many different levels here. You can accept the reality of what you remember and know, something to have been. And you can also acknowledge the reality of where you are and where you're going. I really get that with the eagle and dragonfly, like really, really seeing this so clearly. Oh, let's go, let's go. I love it when you guys surprise me. The magician, look at that. You got two pussycats here. You have a leopard and a tiger. You make magic. I told you, the magic thing. Magician. Oh, no. Check magic. You're on like a journey of magic. Finding magic. Spiritual magic. This isn't the kind of like Houdini type magic. This is almost like challenging yourself to do something, let's say in the dream state. Challenging yourself to visualize something in a meditative state. and then making that real. Like even like before you go to sleep or something, and state like, okay, when I go to sleep, this is how I will appear in my dreams, or this is how I will appear in other people's dreams. And this is what I will do. And you do that. Like there's something. No, this is also dream. You're pilgrimaging. You're pilgrimaging in dreams. There's your eye. Shh. There you are. I didn't see that. Know what that was. That's an eye in the middle. It's what you've perfected. Oh my God, what are you doing? You are lighting, okay, you are lighting a path. At some point, I feel like you were finding the path, and now you are showing the path. Because you are not seeing, you are the watcher. Because you are the watcher, you are on some level here, kind of like all-knowing. God, could you really get into people's dreams? If you can get into somebody's dream, does that not mean that you can get into their subconscious mind? See what I mean when I say like this is some kind of a magic thing that you do? I mean, how would you ever prove it? Like you couldn't go on stage in Vegas and do this show. Ooh, the 10 of Cups, who you are now. You were on the path, you were showing the path, you were found the path to emotional, I'm hearing ease, emotional ease. And do you see like all of this cloudy energy? It reminds me of like going in like and finding yourself in a dream, like in another person's dream state. You haven't fully, you're still working on this lesson, the forest and the elk. So I feel like this is all related. You are perfecting whatever this magic is. And I don't know, okay, let me just see, what is this? Oh shit me, the High Priestess. Look, and you've got another tiger. I feel like you're showing the way. I feel like you are showing the way in dream states. The unseen, the sea serpent. Ace of Pentacles. You've perfected that. I'm not sure how that comes together. It's not talking to me. They're both round. There's something at the center. Is that present somewhere else here? The Eight of Swords. You found a way to enter a place that you could otherwise not. I'm not even going to edit this. I feel like we need to look at these things together here. Let's look at the Pilgrim, okay? Let's look at the Pilgrim. This is you now. Oh, that's the wrong book. That's the wrong book. 22. Okay, the Pilgrim. The wanderer, the traveler, the apprentice. See, okay, that's what I feel like though, like you're perfecting something that you're doing here. Sorry. For the pilgrim, an outward journey is always an inward journey. This archetypal wanderer, oh, I know, our journey is always an inward journey. I feel like we need to read this slowly and absorb it. An outward journey is always an inward journey. This archetypal wanderer seeks wisdom, experience, and meaning in the farthest reaches of the globe and the deepest regions of the spirit. Others will wonder when the pilgrim will settle down and claim a more conventional life. But the pilgrim knows that the heart belongs in motion. Where there is motion, there is freedom, expansion, and growth. Responsibilities, social conventions, and logistics lull us to sleep, and soon the pilgrim becomes veiled in the slumber of the day-to-day. Yet when this archetype awakens, it rallies our sense of adventure and leads us out the door toward a new reality. With the pilgrim at your side, you will never lack courage, nor do you need every amenity. Travel light, travel soon, your spirit needs it. See, that's what I feel like though. This is your spirit traveling. Okay. This is bringing something else in for me. It was almost like a download thought. I got the other Kim Cran's deck, the Alchemist one, which I'm still working with and struggling a bit with because I don't feel like it has any answers, which in some way is the whole purpose of the deck, because alchemy doesn't have an answer. It's a process. It's like I'm not really sure how to use it for reading. But when I was kind of like reading the book, there was something that triggered a thought in me, and it came, I want to say, came in sort of like a psychic download, because I saw like life, us, physical, as this actually being a virtual reality, and our spirit isn't even here. You're not even here. It's like you're spiritually watching through these eyes. Oh yeah, and they say the eyes are the windows of the soul. Wouldn't that make sense? But your spirit is actually not in this body. It is outside of it. Galaxies away even, perhaps. But you observe through this. If you could do that, if that's even, why would it not be possible? How do we even prove where the soul is? Of course, that could explain out-of-body experiences. You're already out of the body. You're just moving how you're seeing. It's like you're turning the game on or off. So I feel like your spirit needs it. Travel light, travel soon. You could even be about to experience, I'm going to call them out of body or astral projection, whatever you want to do it. But I think there's something incorrect about our perception about where our soul is housed. It's not actually in this body. It never was. And it's almost like you are able to see beyond this, the unseen. When light learns, grows, adapts, studies, even in the stillness of meditation, the pilgrim feels the movement of the heart toward what it loves. Wow, but see, this is what you're doing. You are just answering the call really of your heart or your soul and moving. There may not be any logic or reason. I mean, it says this here. People wonder, where's this pilgrim going to settle down? When's this pilgrim going to stop moving? The heart belongs in motion. The forest. This is the lesson that you're working on. I feel really strongly about that concept of that our soul is not even in the body. Okay, the woods, the thicket, the jungle. Consider for a moment your earliest memory of the forest. It's likely it included all the mythic dynamics of this archetypal space. A little fear, a little enchantment, perhaps losing your way, perhaps discovering a secret mystical treasure. Such is the magic of the forest. It requires first that you enter it, and then that you get lost within it. You may think there is a path to lead you straight through, but soon enough you'll be on what is known as the pathless path. I've sensed that. Like you can find a path and start following it and it takes you back to where you started. What the hell? I didn't get out of the forest. You're not meant to get out of the forest. There are tricksters here, dense foliage and entanglement, but equally present are the glimmers of fairy light and friends among the trees. You're on an adventure now, and there's no turning back, so embrace the dim light and the moving shadows, whether literal or imaginal. Brave the forest and get lost getting found. Oh, that's bringing something into... Okay, so what I'm getting here is I feel like you're visiting dream spaces. Maybe you're visiting dream spaces of relatives or people far away. You can't actually physically go and see them. Maybe these are soul connections that you haven't even yet met, but it's all, I feel almost like you're pilgrimaging within these dream spaces. And at one time you were finding paths, right? But now I think you are creating the path. But you do this in an unseen way because you never appear as the same person, object, animal in dreams. It's almost like you're undetected. Why that is, I don't know. Maybe if you are undetected, you are not necessarily affecting perhaps the dream states that you're going into, the person having them. You're not affecting their outcome directly, but I feel like you're showing a path. Isn't that funny? When light, magic abounds, childlike wonder and adventure. Okay, when in shadow, there's probably a little bit of that here because you're perfecting it. Concealment, aha, density and savagery. Whoa. Concealment though, concealment is something that you've perfected. I think the perfection of this concealment, you need to move beyond that and become more visible in this forest. The hunter, the maiden, the crone, and the shaman make regular appearances in the forest. Don't be surprised if these cards come up together. Let the narrative reveal itself. Do we get anything like, I don't know. It's already kind of got that energy here. If you get out of the forest without feeling lost, you are only in a little grove of trees. The great archetypal forest requires we spend at least one night frightened for our life. Oh. Yeah. It's an intense feeling, isn't it? This energy is so intriguing. All right, I'm looking at the shapeshifter, the unseen. Which one will I go to first? The unseen. This is what you've perfected. 27. The unseen. The spirit, the ancestor, the eternal. So I told you. The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it yet. It sees us. But this is what you've perfected. Watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive. We feel this presence, sense it, intuit it, and then doubt its existence. Though it rallies our attention time and time again, the energy of the unseen may come in many forms. A compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, a vision or message from a loved one who has passed to the other side. It is natural to fear these communications as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near. So, let me put my thumb there. Having said, oh yes, too. And this is like a spiritual protection. So it's almost like you've perfected your connection with your guides. You've perfected, but you realize you're not apart from your guides because you're not actually housed in your body. Well, I'm just saying that. Do you believe it now? however you perceive this, however this makes sense to you. When this card appears, your guides are near. The eternal is present. The doorway between worlds is ajar. Listen, the sounds may seem as though they come from a distant land, but they call from your innermost chambers. When light, clairvoyant guidance, whispers of wisdom. Being graced by the unseen is a gift. Treat it kindly. Allow yourself to be seen by eternal eyes. I find it so intriguing too that you have 2 tigers showing up here. I don't feel like this is just a transformation of you, but I feel like it represents on some level here, like, you know, like soul family connection here that's going on. The Shapeshifter, number 15. Everything's funny when you're little, isn't it? Okay, the Shapeshifter. You're not really little anymore. He's almost as tall as me. The Trickster, the Elusive, the Formless. The Shapeshifter has a love of theater, games, and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing, only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, because then I really feel like though you've entered dream states and appeared to others as something different than what you are. There is theatrics with this, games in it. The Shapeshifter is within all of us to some degree. It is the side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental. But I think you have been experimental. I'm not reading, I know. And experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. But I think you would have to be experimental to do something that you're doing like this. We need its energy to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of our existence. I feel like that as well also talks about, you know, fake it till you make it. And I've seen the odd person in comments, it's been a while, but they've said, oh, that's just, you know, you're not really being yourself. You're not telling people that you're not. No, you find yourself in a situation or an environment where you need to survive, or you need to start doing something. You've read it as much as you can, and now you need to participate and take action and become it, or do it, or utilize it, or execute it. And you're not going to do it as well. You're not going to be as confident doing it the first time as you would doing it the 100th time. But you may not succeed if you don't walk in with confidence, right? You're faking it until you make it. When the Shapeshifter card appears, it's important to imagine you are looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focus lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you imagined. Be wary though, as the allure of the kaleidoscope can leave you exhausted and yearning for solid ground. Dancing long-term with the Shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. When light, vibrant, adaptive, and humorous. Isn't that funny? How I opened this book and my son was laughing. I don't know if you heard him. When dark, charlatan, people-pleasing, trickery. The ultimate Shapeshifter works undercover in service of the greater good. The diminished Shapeshifter becomes a people-pleaser. I mean, and that too could have been something in the past. You could have been a people pleaser, appeasing others against your own desires and wills here. Really intriguing. I'm going to pull out more cards for this one. One of the things I feel like with the Shapeshifter that it kind of talked about is how you could get lost. Like, is it safe to go into other people's dreams like that? What if the dream suddenly takes a turn? Because if you enter other people's dreams, you have no control, do you? Well, you shouldn't. I don't think you should. Over what somebody is dreaming and how you enter it and what you enter it as, I guess, are up to you. I want these shuffled. Oh, fuck. You too. Give me a hard time. But what if you enter a dream as a dove, right? And that environment is suited for that. And all of a sudden the dream transforms and shifts, and you are now on a planet of a lava water with mutant crocodiles. Being a dove isn't so good. Can you shapeshift out of that? Can you scare yourself within these deep realms that you go? But that's kind of like the forest. The tiger. The Seven of Pentacles. It's okay. It's almost as if, yes, but this is what I said at the beginning. Like, it's like your environment changes, so you change with it. You have to figure out a new plan here. Oh, and even what I described in the dream thing. So it could be real. It could literally, I don't know. I feel like somebody here, or some of you are dipping in and out of other people's dreams, which is really intriguing me. But there's a physical sense to this too, like a real, you know, tangible. Things have been changing around you, so you've been changing. The Magician. And you have to adjust. You cannot always use a coin as your first step in manifesting. Things have changed. Now I need a wand. I need to inspire myself here. I need to take real action. A sword. Now I need to really think about what's the truth and what's not the truth. Or the Magician. Oh, you've got two Mother cards. You've got the Mother of Pentacles and the Mother of Swords. Okay, I feel like you are entering more than one person's dream state. You may have been trying to manifest more than one thing. Now, the Elephant. This is intriguing because I don't know if you can see the other card that flew out. The first card that flew out landed on the Seven of Pentacles. It almost is like it's telling me this has something to do with your new plan. And then this Magician card landed on the Shapeshifter. So Judgment and the Magician. Where you are now, though, is pilgrimaging through the forest. Remember, finding your way out of the forest is not the goal. It is being in the forest that is the achievement. That is the goal. So Judgment and the Magician. Are you trying to find your way out of the darkness? I think the darkness is supposed to find its way out of you. You can't find your way out of the darkness. The darkness has to find its way out of you. The Ten of Cups. Oh, sorry. Bent that. The Four of Cups and the Nine of Swords. Okay, now the Ten of Cups feels like an elusive dream in itself for you, because there's a disenchanted energy about finding rainbows, finding happiness at the end. And the Nine of Swords really in your mind. You may even be looking for answers in other people's dreams. I don't know. I think there's a fine line in this adventure, possibly, that you're on. There's a reason that we don't know what people are thinking, right? We shouldn't. Elk. People deserve their privacy too. Elk. The lesson that you are still working on. Three of Swords and Eight of Swords. For some of you, I feel like you're trying to reach something in a way that you can't reach it physically. You can't possibly, maybe you can't see it. You're perfecting the darkness, being in the forest. I feel like the only tool you need is this. It's this tiger transformed. And it is transformed Oh no, the moons are in the same direction. The moon is above. You know, I get the feeling like this is like wandering through the forest, and then this is like just sitting in the forest and waiting for the darkness to dissipate. The High Priestess. The Ten of Swords. God, what you're perfecting is painful. The Three of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Ten of Swords. In the darkness. Yeah. And this crystal ball. I mean, it could even be visions. This too, right? Doesn't this look like something starting to materialize in a crystal ball or something like that? But there's the eye. I'm going to, right now, the unseen. I'm going to ask about that. The unseen. This is what you've perfected. The Ace of Cups. The Sea Serpent. The Hanged Man and the Six of Wands. In some ways, you could perhaps have perfected not seeking a new beginning, a new emotional state. Because I'll tell you, this emotional state here is heavy. 3 and 8 of Swords and a 10 of Swords. This is a heavy emotional state. Perfecting the unseen new beginning. You yourself could be a new beginning, but it's not seen. Like you're just, this card, it's like a channel that won't come in, right? It's like a channel that doesn't come in. It's just, it's not quite clear enough to perceive it. You're that, in a sense. You're not quite clear enough to be perceived. And this is just like waiting, almost like, yes, it's, and this High Priestess card, it just feels like it's waiting and waiting. Sitting quietly for your victory. The Ace of Pentacles. Oh, the Ace of Swords. Wow. Real truth, real clarity. The Mother of Wands, the Ace of Wands, another ace. It's 3. No, you have all 4 aces. Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands. That's huge. That's a lot of new beginnings. But there's something here about you can't wander out of the dark forest. The darkness needs to wander out of you. The 4 of Pentacles. It could be a sense of hanging on to something. Or holding something back, holding something of yourself back. I feel like this, just reading in a way is like riddles. So that's what I have. I have. So intriguing. I'm going to go do your extended, Taurus. In the extended, I'm going to look at the energies that are transforming around you. And then I'm going to look at you in the future. So, until next time, my bovine babies, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.